Ladies and gentlemen, I agree to all of you and would like to remedy one injustice right away. This panel discussion is called David on the Dnipro. I consider it as a rightful respect to Ukraine and to everything our people are doing. But this year, determination was shown on different banks, and not only of the Dnipro, Spree, and Seine, Thames, and Potomac, Vistula, and Tiber. David is now all of us. He is a whole free world. David is everyone who left that there is no alternative but to defeat Goliath, who came to destroy our life. Being David is fighting, and we are fighting. Being David is having a sling to win. We do not have yet the David's sling from Israel, but I believe it is just temporarily. Now I would like to thank for the powerful support and mighty weapons. I thank Olaf and Emmanuel who are present here on this panel, and I thank all our partners present here in Munich, the United States, Britain, all the countries of the EU, and all from the whole world. I am grateful to everyone who gives the sling to Ukrainian David, thanks to which Russian Goliath has already started to lose his ground. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. We saw it last year, and he will definitely fall already this year. We can make it, all of us together, just as David did. We can make sure that there is no alternative to our victory, but then there should be no alternative to our determination, to the determination of all of us on Dnipro and on Spree, on Seine, on Thames, on Potomac and Vistula, on Tiber, Danube and Jordan, and everywhere, in every part of the world where freedom is valued more than the mercy of a tyrant. Last year, when I was here in Munich at the conference, I was looking for such common determination. Ukraine was clearly telling the world, we will fight for ourselves if Russia starts a full-scale war. I wanted to hear from the world, Ukraine, we will be with you. Unfortunately, I heard it only after Russian missiles struck our land, already after the Russian tanks started moving, already after Putin destroyed all alternatives, leaving just one. Who will win, he or us? In fact, you have already responded with the name of this conference's panel discussion. Goliath has no chances. But unfortunately, he has a potential. Unfortunately, he tries to buy additional time for his aggression, trading with the world. Unfortunately, he can still destroy many lives, many. That is why we need to hurry up. We need the speed of our agreements, speed of our delivery to strengthen our sling, speed of decisions to limit Russian potential. There is no alternative to speed, because it is the speed that the life depends on. Delay has always been and still is a mistake. While we negotiate how to strengthen our defense with modern tanks, the Kremlin is thinking about ways to strangle Moldova. While we are trying to convince that Ukraine needs modern combat aircraft, the Kremlin has already convinced the Iranian regime. The result is not only lethal Iranian drones in Ukrainian skies, but also something with which the Kremlin paid for it? Are you sure it's just money? Or maybe the world will face the enriched Iranian regime? And to what extent? 90%, 92 or 100%? And I'm sure none of us wants to let the region of Middle East and the Gulf to taste it, while we spend weeks to agree on new sanctions against Russia. The terrorist state is looking for ways to adapt to the restrictions already in place. Through parallel imports, shadow fleet of tankers and the like. Where shall we see the impact of this illegal profit of Russia? In the efforts to corrupt your political systems and international institutions, in attempts to destabilize your social life, and in disinformation campaigns against your people, in escalation in those regions that are sensitive to you. What awaits, for example, Libya, Mali, or Central African Republic while Moscow had the power? What awaits Syria? Nothing good, just like many other nations. So you will have no rest as well. So it's not just about Ukraine. The point is that Goliath must lose. And there is no alternative to this, because the Kremlin can break the security and peace of all who are now represented here in Munich. Delayed decisions of the world are a resource. Putin's dictatorship lives on. It's been that way for years. The longer the talks about the enlargement of the European Union dragged on, the more destructiveness the Kremlin brought to the then gray zone between the European Union and Russia. The louder it was said that it was necessary to wait before Ukraine was allowed to enter NATO's open door, the more aggressive Russian policy became. The longer the silence on Crimea, on the global agenda lasted, the more vigorous Russian revanchism became. And the more the world argued over what sanctions and when to impose against Russia, the more shameless the Kremlin's ambitions became. The longer we in Ukraine, in Europe, in the world had no unity, the more illusions Russia had. Now all this is being corrected. Just like last year, I now propose to act immediately. But unlike last year, now I have the most convincing argument, our achievements. Can we detour Russian strikes? Yes. Can we protect our cities from Russian missiles? Definitely. Can we liberate our land? There are 1,891 proofs of this. That is exactly how many cities, towns, villages we managed to liberate from the Russian occupation. Can we restore security in the Black Sea region and food security in the world? The Black Sea Grain Initiative and the humanitarian initiative Grain from Ukraine are convincing. Is it time for Ukraine to be a full-fledged part of the European Union? Most Europeans support membership for Ukraine. We have already gained the status of a candidate country. We are already preparing to start membership negotiations. We are already united with the European economy, logistics, and energy. There is no alternative to Ukrainian victory. There is no alternative to Ukraine in the EU. There is no alternative to Ukraine in NATO. There is no alternative to our unity. Hence, there is no and should not be any alternative to completely get rid of Russian aggression. to liberate the land, to liberate people, because every city, town and village that remains under occupation means people staying in captivity. May people be the subject of compromise? No. We have to liberate Ukraine and Europe, because when the Russian weapon shoot at us, it is already pointed at our neighbors. May Europe be the subject of compromise? No. We have to liberate from Russia's aggressive potential every international institution and every sphere of the world economy, because only then there will be a chance for freedom to pass through our border further to the east. May freedom be the subject of compromise? No. And it's a rock solid no. I'm confident that we can gain victory not only over Putin, but also over Putins. Not only over Putins in Russia, but all around the world. Wouldn't this be a proof of the power of the idea of freedom? It will definitely be. Ladies and gentlemen, determination is never abstract. David defeated Goliath not by the power of conversation, but by the power of these actions, by the courage and sling. Courage is what we have. There is enough of it, not only in Ukraine, but in our entire coalition of victory. The sling should get stronger right now, so that the next year we would gather here in Munich for the first security post-war conference under the condition of free Ukraine, free Europe, free world. Olaf, Emmanuel, all our friends and I, Olaf, Emmanuel, yeah, all our friends, I think you've got me right. I thank you. Thank you very much for your attention. You, Davids of the free world, we united Davids shall prevail over Putins scattered all over the world. Glory to everyone who is now on the battlefield. Slava Ukraini! Thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you very much for your words. When we asked you some time ago if you were to attend the Munich Security Conference, you said, well, I'm going to be there in person when the war is over. So we hope to welcome you, as you indicated, next year here in Munich. But on the same question, if I may, Mr. President, President Putin clearly counts on the fatigue of the international community and the fatigue of your country, of decrease in resilience. He believes that Russia has more staying power than Ukraine. Do you share his view? And he's going to respond in Ukrainian.
Питання. Ви знаєте, я в принципі не поділяю точки зору президента Путіна.
President Putin, I don't share anything with him. I do realize all the risks. I understand that they are there, great risks, and really he's interested in making sure that support is hindered or getting slow. Not talking about weapons, we're talking about all aspects of support, including financial support and political support. on all floors, on all platforms, including the UN and all the other various platforms, political support in Africa, for example, and the vision of what he's looking at of unity. So he does this last thing he wants is for the world to be united vis-a-vis Ukraine, and he has been working hard and driving a wedge between individual members of the European Union, indeed. So they don't want us to be resilient enough, as opposed to what we have demonstrated for the last year. And of course, fatigue, there is such thing as fatigue. There's a variety of issues and challenges, including energy, climate, whatever, inflation. And he is trying to pull them all together, lump them on the world, lump them together with the sanction policy to make them feel tired. But a lot of things happened because he started the war in the first place. So we don't have to be tired. We need to keep repeating to society and to each other, and which is the right thing to do, to keep in mind who actually started the war, why the war was started. It's obvious that Ukraine is not going to be his last stop. He's going to continue his movement all the way, I don't know, just including all other states that at some point in time were part of what? Of the Soviet bloc. So, and it's easy to understand what he's driving at. I said speed is crucial. Exactly. Let me. And he wants the world to slow down, because speed determines our prospects to overcome, to prevail. So he is afraid of his own domestic situation. He is losing himself to his own people, as a matter of fact. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Now, we have seen that Russia is trying for some days already to start on kind of offensive. My question, how do you think this will continue, and are you concerned that maybe Belarus will join in and Lukashenko will join Putin in attacking your country?
Well, with regard to this offensive story, so everything is not that as complicated. They're not just, leaders of genius. I'm talking about the political military leadership of Russia. They are trying to try the waters, to try to identify some vulnerabilities in our defense system, and they're looking for support. So therefore, they target civilian facilities, energy networks, and those strikes are not accidental. They are trying to provoke chaos, and they have been working on this, and they've been looking for any vulnerabilities on our side. So they're looking at the southern part of our country, and non-stop. They have been actually operating non-stop all the way through across, along the whole year. And they are amassed basically in the eastern, southern parts, but let me remind you, about 40,000 Russian soldiers fled. They were just running away from the Kherson area all the way out to the other side of the river because they lost Kherson, but still they want to keep concentrated force somewhere in the east, because this is their number one area, and they are striking civilian facilities, like I said, housing areas for a reason. They want to oust residents for them to be able to occupy, to put the foot on the ground. Speak of the Donbass. Unfortunately, the infrastructure has been completely destroyed, and as Hitler used to operate during the Second World War, right, relying on aviation, shelling and bombing, right? This is what Russia has been doing. So no surprises. We are fully aware of their tactics and strategies, and hopefully we are going to be supported by your allies, which will fill us with conviction. And, well, at the end of the day, the Donbass will end up being destroyed completely, but I'm sure that we'll be able to restore everything, to renew everything, to rebuild everything. So we need to save our human resources as well. This is because our largest values, highest values. With regard to the second part of the question about Belarus, well, our understanding as of today is as follows. At this point in time, such likelihood is pretty low for Belarus to join Russia, because this is not easy to involve Belarusian soldiers, because in principle we understand Belarusians do not want to fight against Ukraine. We have some analytical data that show an 80% support of, not going against Ukraine, and this is going to be a large mistake. Had Lukashenko been doing this, so there would have been really a huge history-making mistake, because at some point in time, Russia has been using their airports, airfields, to shell and bombard Ukraine. Maybe this has been done without Minsk's support. But if they do it voluntarily, if they actually join in forces, then this will be much worse for them. They will immediately become a part of Putin's aggressive equation, right? And they will be subject to future tribunals. They will have to face the need to fund restoration activities in Ukraine. So there's going to be a major mistake, and hopefully Belarus will fall short of doing that, and they do not have enough forces for that, not resources. And if they do attack us, so chances are that their soldiers will fall and will remain in our soil without being able to return. So we are defending ourselves, and they're thinking of attacking us.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My last question is about the future of your own country. You have demonstrated within Ukrainian society a lot of internal solidarity. My question is, will this unity, which I think is very, very important, will this continue after the war, and also on if I may say this, on the endemic corruption that we witnessed in your country before? Do you think that this endemic corruption will be pulled out by its roots for good?
All right. There's no such thing as in-depth corruption in Ukraine. A lot of things, of course, have been put bare, have come up to surface with this war, against the backdrop of this war. I agree with what you're saying, and some part of our people have stayed with the occupiers. But okay, rewinding forward, the post-war Ukraine, I'm sure that Ukraine will be able to cope with corruption, because we are conducting a series of reforms, and we have a specialist anti-corruption agency, and I'm about to appoint a new leader, and next month, in fact, so this process will be completed. So regardless of the war, we are reforming ourselves. We are fighting corruption, and but again, during the war, of course, corruption is always there, because war is sometimes used as a source of illicit incomes, as you know. But hopefully this is going to end pretty much soon, and we'll cope with corruption after that.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I think I speak for everybody when I thank you for your intervention this afternoon, and we wish you and your people good luck, and we'll do everything also here at the Munich Security Conference to rally support behind your cause. You are defending our freedom as well. So thank you very much for being with us. Good luck to you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Good luck and peace. Thank you for support.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to keep on your headphones, because now it's a great pleasure and honor to welcome for the second time in a row to the Munich Security Conference Chancellor Olaf Scholz.